Recording in progress.
All right, so for recording purposes, today's topic is nutrition. All right, so never mind the gray boxes or rectangles to the left-hand side of the screen. That's just for me to keep track of what topics I need to cover. So we're going to talk about the 4 major nutrients. Now, the 4 major nutrients are also called macronutrients. Macro, in case you all didn't know, macro is the opposite of micro. Micro means small, but macro means large. So whenever you're eating food, there are 4 things, 4 types of nutrients that you need a lot of. And that's why they call them macro. And the 4 macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids. Now, lipids are also called fats. But I know you're not going to go out in the real world and say fats, right? I mean, you're not going to say lipids. You're more rather say, hey, that food has a lot of fat in it, or that's a fatty type of food. And then just out of the top of your head, right? Just to see how much you know. What foods contain a lot of fats, right? For those who diet and are real conscious about their health, what foods usually have a lot of fats? Butter, right? That's the number 1 go-to. There's one that starts with the letter C, cheese, that has an S in it, not a Z. All right, right? What about avocados, zabukas? Do those have fats? Yes, avocados is well known for having a lot of lipids or fats. I just want to clear up something, okay? Well, anything with oil in it will definitely have fats. But whenever people hear the word fats or fatty foods, they automatically think it's unhealthy. And that's not true. The truth is, when it comes to fats, it have healthy fats and it have unhealthy fats. It really does, right? And hopefully, as we go on today, you're going to learn the proper names for healthy fats and unhealthy fats, and which foods have healthy fats and which one have unhealthy fats. We all know by now French fries, like when you go those fast food restaurants and you get fries, right? The potato fries. We all know by now that's unhealthy fats. The oil that they use to fry it is unhealthy for us, right? But we still eat it because it tastes so good. But avocados, we now say that avocados have a lot of fats. It's a fatty food. Has anybody ever said avocados are bad? Right? Has anyone ever said avocados are bad? No, in fact, avocados are nutritious. Okay, so that means probably avocados have a different kind of fat. Probably it's a healthy fat. And eventually we're going to find out why the fats in avocados are considered healthy and the ones you find in the French fries are unhealthy. Okay, so just remember, so let me not take that off the screen, right? So don't take down anything as yet, guys. As usual, let me talk and I will be very clear about afterwards about what you need to take down. So let's talk a little bit about each category. We're going to talk about each category in detail. So now is the time to take down everything on the screen, right? I want everything that I am circling, I want you to take it down. And yes, I want you to take down my handwriting notes here, okay, as well. Let me know when you are finished.
Recording in
So I'm getting some answers, right? So I want to explain the use of fats before I give you a note on it. Because like I said, most people don't know the use of fats. So let's say we have a person here, right? So this is, let's give him a name. Let him be Mark, right? So that's Mark, okay? So why would Mark need fat on him, right? First of all, fats form a kind of insulation around the body. Think about it. Isn't fat on the, well, there's 2 types of fat. fats that you can actually see. That's the external fat that's on your skin, and people can physically say, hey, you have plenty fat or a little bit of fat, right? So fats form a kind of insulation around the body. It's like a blanket. So fats form a form of insulation. Now it's not really the insulation isn't really noticeable on human beings. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does form some insulation and it could keep us warm. But it's more noticeable on other animals like polar bears or even any bear. Bears and like seals have a lot of fat around it. Whales have a lot of fat around it, noticeably more fat than a human being. So it forms a kind of blanket around the animal to keep it warm. Isn't it also a form of protection? If a person has a lot of fat around them and you try to punch them, do you think they're going to feel it as much as what? As a very thin person? No. So fat can actually protect your organs because it's a barrier between you and the force and the organs, right? And a lot of internal organs in your body have fat around it, fat that you cannot see with your eyes. But if you do a surgery and you go into a person's body, some organs have fat surrounding directly around the organs that help protect it from an accident or blunt force. So those are two things that I mentioned already about fats. One, fats form a type of insulation, a blanket around the body to keep it warm. Two, it's for protection. But there's a third very important use of fats. Okay? Let's go back to carbohydrates. Whenever you're low on energy, right? You need carbohydrates. So let's just say that you're on a deserted island. So you're a pirate and they kick you off the boat and they leave you on an island to die. Okay? So this is you here. Right? That's Mark again, right? So let's say that they leave Mark with one type of food to eat. Give me a food that's high in carbohydrates. Everyone should have an idea of a food that's very high in carbohydrates. I just need one example. Bread. Okay, great. We're going to take a slice of bread. So before we leave Mark stranded on the island, we give him one slice of bread and we laugh at him, and then we jump back in our boat and we leave Mark. Poor Mark, right? So Mark has a piece of bread that has carbohydrates. So he eats the bread and he gets energy. But do you think that energy is going to last forever? He eats the slice of bread, and by the time the morning comes, that energy has already been used up. What will happen to Mark's body now? Now, Mark has no more carbohydrates. And of course, if your body doesn't get carbohydrates, it gets no energy. No energy means your brain stops functioning because your brain needs energy. Your heart needs energy to beat, in and out, right? Guess what your body does? Your body will take, Mark's body will take the fat and convert it into energy. Isn't that amazing? So the fat on your body is like a storage for energy, but it's almost like a second resort. If you have enough carbohydrates, your body will leave the fat alone and just use the carbohydrates it's getting from the bread, the cassava, and so on. But the minute carbohydrates stop flowing into your body goes into backup mode. It says, oh God, we need some energy. So it will take the fat and then convert it into energy. What do you think will happen over time? Will Mark get skinnier or will he put on weight? as his body converts the fat to energy, right? Right? Now, there is a fancy word for converting fat into energy. Let's keep it simple for the time being, right? I don't want it to confuse. Let's keep it very, very simple for the time being, okay? Right? So, Naomi, I think you have it wrong there, right? Meaning that your body converts the fat into energy, right? Well, for this situation, right? Let's keep it simple. Remember, this is a backup situation, an emergency situation. So your body has fat, so it's going to take the fat and convert it into energy. So therefore, right, the mark is going to get thinner and thinner and thinner because he is using up the fat. Great. What will happen now when Mark's body uses up all the fat? I've tried to erase all the fat off his body here, right? What will happen now, right? What will happen now when Mark's body uses up all the fat? He won't die yet. He won't die yet. No, 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 no. He doesn't die yet. Your body has a next backup plan. Your body has a next backup plan, but it's only used in seriously emergency situation. Isn't fat and muscle different? Everyone has to agree with that, right? Fat and muscle are different. So guess what now? Mark's body will start to convert its muscle. And remember, muscle basically contains protein, right? Muscle is made up of protein, well, amino acids, right? His muscles now will be converted into energy, but your body only does that in a real emergency situation, only when all the fat has been depleted in your body. So technically, your body starts to eat away itself. It starts to convert the muscle and eat away the muscle and convert it into energy. And that's a very dangerous situation. You don't ever want to reach the point where your body is deteriorating the muscle to convert it to energy just to stay alive. That's almost the minute that kicks in, you're malnourished, you need to go to a hospital. All right? Yes, basically you're eating yourself. That's basically what you're doing, right? Right? But like I said, you don't have to take down anything here because I'm going to be discussing it later on in slides. It's just how you say, an introduction. Yeah. That's a scary situation. So this is the part where you are not gonna like, right? Where you have a lot of notes. And guys, please just don't screenshot. A lot of you all might say, hey, God, this is plenty notes. Let me just screenshot it. No. I want everyone to eventually read through everything on the screen, process it, understand it, and then take it down. That is how it's going to stick into memory. So let me go through each one here individually because don't start writing as yet. So the main topic here is carbohydrates. The examiner loves to bring very detailed questions on every single macronutrient. Carbohydrates are the primary source of energy. What do we mean by primary? Primary just means first. That's the body's first choice. So if I come and tell you carbohydrates are the primary source of energy, that's the body's first choice. So I'm going to put carbs here. That is abbreviating carbs. Who could tell me what's the body's second choice of carbs? Well, what do you remember from the last slide? If the body's first preference to get energy is carbohydrates, what's the body's second choice? Fats. So that's secondary choice. And what's the body's third choice? If carbs and fats run out, well, what is it again? Proteins or muscle, right? Right, great. I'm glad you all remember. Now, there are three main types of carbohydrates, right? A lot of people think carbohydrates is just carbohydrates, but there are different types of carbohydrates, and certain ones are more healthy than other types depending on your situation. Now, I'm going to throw some fancy words for you here, right? You won't understand everything as yet. In the exam, if they ask you for the three major types of carbohydrates, one is starch, the other one is called a reducing sugar, and the opposite of a reducing sugar is a non-reducing sugars. You're going to have to memorize that for the exam. Now, for the time being, most people will know what starch is. What is an example of a starchy food that's found in your kitchen? Like which vegetable or which, I don't want to give it away. Well, I'll just keep it at what type of food is considered a starchy food? Right. Most people are going to say potatoes, right? Potatoes, right? Potatoes, sweet potatoes, cassava. Those are examples of starchy foods. I'm just going to use two out of the many examples you all are telling me. Potatoes and cassava. Now, quick question. Since potatoes and cassava are considered to be starchy foods, and starchy foods are a type of carbohydrates, I have two questions. Can you eat a potato raw, or can you eat a cassava raw? Can you just go in the garden, pick up a potato, throw it in your mouth and start to eat it? No, you cannot, right? Right? You cannot. So starchy foods need to be cooked because your body cannot digest raw starchy foods, okay? Keep that in the back of your head, right? Starchy foods cannot be digested or eaten just so. Also, let's use a little bit of common knowledge here. If I have a glass of water and I throw sugar inside here, sugar, and I take a teaspoon and turn it around, will the sugar dissolve? Will the sugar disappear into the water? Will the sugar dissolve? Yes or no? Yes, we all know sugar can dissolve in water, right? Quick question now. Let's reverse this. Now, let's change it. If I cut up raw potato, in other words, a starchy food, and I take the chunks of potato or cassava, and I take the teaspoon and turn it up, will the starchy food dissolve? Will the starchy food disappear? No, right? So the answer for that one is no. The point is here, this is the point I'm making, because sometimes they ask you this question in the exam. Is starch dissolvable? Can you dissolve starchy foods in water? And the answer is just simply no. And there's a very easy way to remember that from real life, right? It's something that should stick in your head, okay? Right. Oh, I have the answer on the screen here. I didn't realize I had the answer for starch. Starch is what you call a complex carbohydrate and can be found in rice, potatoes, and some bread. It depends on how you cook the bread, okay? But mostly rice and potatoes. If I had to stick with two to be 100% sure, I would choose rice and potatoes in the exam. They won't ask you for 3 examples. They might just ask you for 1 example. A reducing sugar is something that you call a simple carbohydrate, including glucose and fructose, which is found in fruits and honey. So, and there are many different types of sugars. A lot of people, when they hear the word sugar, they automatically think the sugar that they put in their tea and coffee or in a cake. But there are many, 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 many different types of what sugars out there, right? A non-reducing sugar is another example of a simple carbohydrate. And some examples of non-reducing sugars are sucrose, lactose, maltose, which can be found in table sugar, that's the sugar in your kitchen. It can be found in milk and beer, respectively. Right? By the way, sugar that's found in your kitchen is called sucrose. That's the scientific name for the sugar found in your kitchen. And that's an example of a non-reducing sugar. Right? And here are it's a more detailed explanation of simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. Remember, the only one that's a complex carbohydrates here is the starch, right? The rest of them are simple carbohydrates, not complex. Let me just give you a general, before, don't start to take down anything here. Whenever you're feeling very, very low on energy, I know I sound like a tape recorder here, right? You need carbohydrates. Now, be honest. Let's say you run a marathon and you're real hungry and you're low on energy. Which one would you grab first to eat? Cooked cassava or a chocolate bar? Be honest. Or a sugary drink. Like that's in rituals, you get these little sugary drinks. What you call them? Oh God, I don't buy them because they're too sugary. What you call them? Those sugary drinks now, when they go slushies, a chiller. Yeah, chiller. Sorry, I never really bought one, so I don't remember the name. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat the question. Which one would you grab first? I'm gonna draw a chiller here. Just now. You went rituals and you buy a chiller. Or will you eat cassava? Be honest. You now run a marathon. Which one you gonna grab for first? The chiller, right? Because the chiller has a lot of sugar in it, right? And your body will crave that sugar. Don't get me wrong, cassava has a lot of carbohydrates, but your body knows something subconsciously. And the reason that you're going to grab the sugar is because the sugar is what you call a simple carbohydrate. Look at it. All sugars are simple carbohydrates. Your body can absorb simple carbohydrates faster. So you see anything sugary, your body could break it down very, very, very quickly and convert it into energy. However, complex carbohydrates are healthier, but it takes longer to break down. As soon as you eat that cassava, your body is going to take about 2 hours to break down that cassava and then convert it into energy. The sugar will be almost immediate. In 10 minutes, bam, your body break that down and convert it into energy. But complex carbohydrates, healthy carbohydrates, have a price to pay. And that price is time, right? It takes longer to break down. So your body, and that is why you grab the chiller. It's because your body needs energy now. So your brain is going to tell your hand, hey, grab the chiller. We need that energy now. I don't care about healthy stuff right now. I just need energy, right? It takes a lot of discipline to choose the complex carbohydrates, right? To choose a lot of discipline. Okay, I only know a few people who could do that. Okay, right. Take down. I'm gonna clear the screen, and I want everyone to take down everything in the green rectangles. Okay, I've given you a full 5 minutes. Let me know when you are finished, and I will move on. But keep in contact with. Our first game today, right? For 6,000 fake dollars, right? Can you all unscramble the word? You only get 2 assists. So on top, there's a word that's the letters are mixed up. If you unmix it up or demixalize it, if that's a word, you will get a word, and the hint is it's something you eat. Let's see how good you all are at unscrambling words. Cassidy, correct. The word is yogurt. If you unscramble and put all the letters in the correct place, it's yogurt. So for those who got it out before me, put down your 6,000. And for those who didn't, better luck next time. Oh, somebody said I spelled yogurt wrong. Y-O-U. I spelled yogurt correct. Y-O-U. Oh, shucks. I did spell it wrong. I guess I don't. Sorry, guys. As you all know, I didn't do too well in English. I barely passed English in school. And my wife always tell me I need to come for English classes. Sorry about that, guys. All right. For those who didn't get it, you get a complimentary $1,000. All right, let's move on to the next one. Protein. So, when you open your exam papers, there might be a lot of questions about proteins, right? So the first one we know already. Proteins are essential for growth and repair of body tissues and are the building blocks of many tissues, right? So basically, proteins are used for what? To make muscles and tissue. We covered that already, okay? And that is why you eat foods with a lot of protein. So some examples of food that contain protein are basically any type of meat, whether it's chicken or beef or lamb. All of those, meat just naturally contains a lot of proteins. And then there are a lot of vegetable foods that contain that are high in protein, like any type of beans, right? Soya beans, pigeon peas, red beans. I can go on and on. Beans are just high in proteins. Now, a lot of people don't know the second one. Proteins are also used to make something called enzymes and hormones. Most people here will not know what an enzyme is because we haven't done it in class as yet. To keep it simple, there are a lot of different types of enzymes. Enzymes make chemical reactions in your body happen more easily. But a lot of people don't know this, but your body is a huge chemical ongoing reaction. Right now in your body, substances are being mixed and they are reacting. Now, chemical reactions require energy. Enzymes make the reactions easier to happen. In other words, it makes it such that the body uses less energy. But we're going to have a whole chapter dedicated to enzymes when we reach there. More people might be familiar with the word hormones, right? Everyone should know the answer for this. Whenever you're in danger, sometimes you're sleepy. Let's say you're feeling sleepy and you're tired, but then a bandit breaks into your house. Will you remain sleepy and uncaring if a bandit breaks into your house? No. All of a sudden, you're no longer sleepy. You're on your feet, you're alert, and all of a sudden you get the energy because you want the energy for two things. You're either going to fight to the death or you're going to run as fast as you can. What's the name of the hormone in your body that trips you like that and makes you alert all of a sudden? Adrenaline, correct. If I hear one person who has an adrenaline rush, adrenaline is one of the many, many hormones found in the human body. It's a special chemical in your body that makes you alert. To make these things called hormones, your body needs proteins. So if you don't eat enough foods with proteins in it, your body is going to have a hard time making enzymes and hormones, okay? And you're definitely going to have a hard time building muscle and whatnot. Now, I think I mentioned this one already. When you now eat food that has protein in it, like let me say you eat a chicken sandwich, okay? A chicken sandwich contains proteins, but then your body, its digestive system, will break down the proteins into something smaller, amino acids. Because let me tell you something. Proteins are huge. When you put up like a protein molecule underneath a microscope, it's huge. your body will take these huge proteins. Your stomach and your intestines will break down the proteins into smaller components called amino acids. You see, your body cannot absorb proteins into its blood. The protein itself is too large. What your body will need to do is break down the proteins into smaller particles. These smaller particles are called amino acids. And once it's small enough, it can filter into your blood, and your blood can carry it around your body. But I think I mentioned that already, that proteins are made up of smaller particles called amino acids. It's like when you put together building blocks or Lego blocks, each individual Lego block is called an amino acid. But when you put a whole set of amino acids or Lego blocks together to get a bigger structure, the bigger structure is called a protein, right? And that is what number 3 is saying there. And well, number 4, I don't have to read back that. That's just some examples of foods that contain proteins. Also, proteins cannot be dissolved in water. And I can prove that. If you take a chicken breast and you throw it in water and stir it with a spoon, the chicken breast not going to disappear because proteins are not. You cannot dissolve it in water. It's insoluble, the opposite of soluble. Take down everything on the screen, right? Let me know when you are finished. All right. Let's do not double check it to make sure me forget anything with proteins, right? All right, so the next one is obviously, so far we did carbohydrates, we did protein. So I believe the next one is supposed to be what? Fats, also known as lipids. And then we eventually have to do water. I know some of you are asking yourself, but what is the purpose of water in your body, right? Anybody that's want to take out of your brain there, right? Don't Google it. Give me an example of why our body would need water. Just one example of why your body would need water. Well, what makes water? I don't want to hear the answer to hydrate yourself or to quench thirst. I want a scientific reason why we need water in our body. Now, the drinking of water is called hydration. So saying that water is used to hydrate yourself, it doesn't explain why we need water. So I could change that question to this. Why do we need to hydrate ourselves? What's the purpose of hydrating ourselves with water? Right. Right, and some people have some good examples here. Well, did you know that your body, and we're going to see this eventually, so let me just introduce it. Does your body need to cool down itself? Now, it's like this. If your body is too hot or your body is too cold, it will die, right? Remember, your body temperature is supposed to be roughly 36 or 37 degrees. Let's just call it 36 degrees. I know some people would say the ideal body temperature is 37 degrees, right? If your body gets too cold or too hot, it's going to do what? Well, die. So how does your body keep itself at a constant temperature? It does many things, but one of the ways it actually uses water to cool down itself or to maintain a certain temperature. That sounds very, 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 very familiar, right? What device that we see every day, or what piece of machinery uses water to cool down itself? We see it every day on the roads. And it drives up and down. Don't cars have a radiator? And what do we put in the radiator? Don't we put water? our body uses water like a radiator, just like our car uses water in the radiator to cool down. Believe it or not, we have a lot of similarities with a car. And as we go on and on, you're going to realize, wait, no, I real close to being a robot. Because we learned last week that our body uses electricity to communicate. Our body has like batteries in them that uses electricity to communicate about the nerves, right? We send electrical signals from our heads to our hands and our feet and right throughout our body. And now we learn that we're using water to cool down ourselves like a automobile, right? Right? So anyway, let's move on. I just thought that was worth mentioning. Oh, don't get us a break here. Oh, this is a nice thing, right? Here's what. Get ready to write down something. So on your scrap piece of paper, choose one item. Either choose the snake, the mouse, or the butterfly, but write down what you choose because you're going to forget. Choose one. Choose one. The snake, the rat, or the butterfly. Just choose one. Just choose one. Right? Next one. Choose one from this list. Choose one letter. Choose either the R, the A, or the X. Anyone you feel comfortable with. And then you have one more choice to make after. And your choices are going to earn you some fake money. Next one. Choose one item, the mushroom, the cactus, or the bat. Up to you. Make sure and write it down because you're going to forget. So you made 3 choices just now, right? You one with the animals, you one with the letters, and now with the item. These are the winning combinations. If you chose these 3, exactly those 3, you win 2,000. If you chose these 3, you win 500. If you chose these 3, you win 300. Any other combination gives you 0 money. So this one's a hard one to win. Let me know how much money you won. If you got 0, well, I know you didn't get the combination. Hey, somebody got the 2,000. Congrats, congrats. Let's go. Next on the list is lipids, right? So lipids, as you all know, are also called fats, okay? Right? So the main types of lipids are fats, oils, and cholesterol, right? So lipids is a kind of general category for fatty foods, right? But it's a little bit more. When you say lipids, you're not only talking about fats, but oils and cholesterol. Now, most people assume that cholesterol is bad. But there are 2 types of cholesterol, good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. A lot of people don't know that, okay? They think that cholesterol is bad automatically. But like I said, you have to know which foods contain cholesterol and which foods contains the good ones and which contains the bad ones. Now, here's something a lot of people don't know, right? Which part of your body creates or makes cholesterol? A lot of people don't know that. If I ask people without Googling, what part of your body makes cholesterol? Can't. Malachi, correct. Only a few people will get this correct. What part of your body makes cholesterol? A lot of people don't know that your body makes cholesterol. A lot of people think that you eat cholesterol. Like if a certain food has cholesterol, when you eat that food, you just absorb the cholesterol, which is kind of true. But the major source of cholesterol is not actually eating cholesterol. Your body actually makes cholesterol. It's the liver, right? So the part of the body that and this is your liver here, in case you don't know how your liver works. Your liver makes cholesterol. So you know how a lot of food, did it say cholesterol free? Or how much of y'all have noticed that when you go to buy snacks, did it write cholesterol free? Be honest with me, right? And you just think, oh, this healthy. Who cares if the food has cholesterol or not, right? Your body, if the food has cholesterol, your body does only absorb a tiny, tiny, tiny portion of that cholesterol, right? The amount of cholesterol that you're going to absorb from food that has cholesterol is minimum. It's small in comparison to the liver, who creates or makes cholesterol. He is the culprit, the liver. So the next question is, why or what causes the liver to make cholesterol? Well, believe it or not, if you eat food that has cholesterol, the cholesterol that you eat doesn't actually make the liver create cholesterol. If you drink, well, I know you're all too young to drink, right? But and drinking is horrible, right? Alcohol, right? If you drink alcohol, alcohol will stimulate your liver or tell your liver to make cholesterol. Think about that. Alcohol doesn't have any cholesterol in it. But when you drink alcohol, it will tell your liver, hey, you want to make some cholesterol? And of course, the liver has to obey and make cholesterol, right? So, and there are certain foods, when you eat it, it stimulates or causes your liver to make cholesterol. Things like alcohol and oil and those things, they make your liver create the cholesterol. So that is how people develop high cholesterol values. It's not because they're eating food that have cholesterol, but they're eating foods that stimulate or tell your liver to make cholesterol. Right? So if you didn't know, now you know. All right. So when you hear foods have cholesterol free and whatnot, who cares? Right? It doesn't really make a big difference. It's just a marketing scam. What else I was going to tell you about? Oh God, I forgot something real important. Oh, eggs, right? Whenever people have high cholesterol, right? The first thing people will say, you have to stop eating eggs. Stop eating eggs because eggs naturally has what? Cholesterol in it. But what do you all think now? Is it really necessary to stay away from eggs forever to get down your cholesterol? You can eat a little bit still. But I'm not saying go eat 10 eggs a day. But if you eat 1 egg a day or 2 eggs, that's not really going to affect your cholesterol because the cholesterol inside the eggs, your body is not going to absorb the majority of it. It's just a little bit you're going to get from it. You need to stay away from alcohol, from oily foods, and certain types of oily foods to get down your cholesterol. Staying away from foods that have cholesterol in it. I mean, it's a little bit of help, but that's like 1% of the solution, right? Right, you need to stay away from, I'm not going to say the word, but from certain fried chickens. You all know what I'm talking about. I don't want to get a lawsuit here. All right. Okay. So lipids are made up of fatty acids and glycerol molecules. Now, I don't expect you all to know what a fatty acid is and a glycerol molecule is right now, at least. The point is, if you take any lipid and put it underneath a microscope, like a real powerful microscope, you see that it's made up of smaller things, just like how proteins are made up of smaller things called amino acids. Lipids are made up of smaller particles, and these smaller particles are called fatty acids and glycerol. And lipids can actually be classified as saturated or unsaturated. So lipids, right? Better known as fats. It has two categories, two major categories. And you could test run this when you go in the supermarket and you're buying oily products or buttery products, anything that has fat in it. I guarantee you that when you read the label properly, it will either say it's saturated fat or unsaturated. Sorry for the bad. Oh God, I must spell that back. I hate to spell words terrible. Let's stop. Unsaturated. Which one is the healthier one? Is not all fats are bad. Eh? Remember, I tell you, not all fats are bad, right? Which one is the healthy one? Saturated fat or right? Michaela, that's off topic, right? I can't answer that now. I'm a hands full here. All right. So, guys, when you're asking questions, I know some of you all are just excited to know certain stuff, right? But you have to stick to the topic here, right? You can't go off topic, right? It's too much for me to handle, right? Right. The healthier one is Mr. Unsaturated. He is the healthier one, right? And the saturated one is the sad one. He's the bad one. Now tell me something. Does the average person know which one is the healthy one or the unhealthy one? No, the average person don't. I mean, you're all doing biology and HSB and integrated science now. So I telling you which one is the healthy one, right? But when you go to buy products, right? Let's say I have a block of cheese or some type of fats, and I write the word saturated fat on it, and I put a little explosion graphic around it, and I put a big smiley face around it. And you go think that saturated fat is the good one? Because I put a big smiley face and nice colors around it, right? So you gotta be careful. Marketing can fool you, not because something has a nice smiley face or you have a mascot eating it and you have a big smile on his face. It could be something bad, right? But that's advertising for you. Advertising will take a crappy product and make it seem like the best thing in the world. Right? So be careful, guys. Be careful, right? I never used to know either. It's only, when I started to, when I did the topics or subjects, then I realized, wait, now marketing could real fool you. Okay? Real fool you. And it's legal. It's not illegal to be deceptive in marketing, apparently. There's no law against it. Right? Right. Lipids are insoluble in water. That one is easy. You cannot dissolve it in water, like how you can dissolve sugar in water. If you take butter and you stir it in water, it's not going to disappear, right? So, and I mentioned this one here. Lipids are for energy storage. This is your backup energy in case your carbohydrates finished. And it's also used as insulation. Fats is used as insulation or backup energy. Take down everything on the screen. Let me know when you are finished, right? All right, no worry. I'm not going to make you write everything with water. Don't worry, don't get scared. You're not writing down everything with water. So water has some good uses in the body, right? We mentioned the first one. Only the ones that I underline is the one I want you to take down. The examiner is not going to ask you for 8 things. I just got happy when I was making the notes, right? Water allows you to regulate your body temperature. We mentioned this like already, right? The water in your blood is like a radiator system in a car, right? You can read through all, but number 4 is the one I would like you to take down also. You see, you cannot have blood without water. Isn't blood a liquid? If you had no water, then you can't have blood. Your blood, which contains a lot of water, helps to transport the nutrients and oxygen around the body. So that's a very useful use of water. It's part of the blood, and your blood transports things around your body. We definitely need water for when you go to the washroom to urinate. You can't have urine without water, right? That one should be obvious, right? Right. So let's see. If I had to choose one more here, which one I would want you? Oh, this one is good. It keeps tissues moist by forming tears and lubricants, like your eyes, right? Your eye, the surface of your eyes is always supposed to be what? Wet, right? Right, whether you're crying or not, your eyes, the surface of your eyes must be moist. It acts as a kind of lubricant for the surface of your eyes. Okay? So to be honest, I just want you to take down those 4 that I underlined, right? Take down this note here, obviously the heading, and only take down the 4. The examiner is not going to ask you for more than 4 in the exam, and usually any 4 will do, right? Let me know when you are finished. All right, let's get started. Let's move on. So I put pictures like this one here. $3,000. Use any 2 letters on the screen. Now, and then the letters, the boxes are going to change colors. And if your 2 letters have the same color, well, you win $3,000. Choose any 2 letters. And you can only choose 2. Get some music going here. All right, let's change these colors. Remember, they must have the same color in order to win. Huh? Anybody won? Were your 2 letters the same color? If not, sorry, next time. Jahim, you won. Good, good. Eli, I think you're trying to tell me you win. All right, so write down how much money you got. Well, if you got it correct, it's $3,000, right? Let's go. All right. Oh God, you're probably saying very bad things about me in your head right now because you see this table here and you know you're gonna have to take it down. But sorry about this topic, and guys, it's just a nutrition. It's just a lot of things you have to learn off. It doesn't have the most amount of explanation. Don't worry, I promise you. Last slide, not doing our next slide, right? So let's talk a little bit about vitamins. Vitamins are not part of the macronutrients. The macronutrients are proteins, carbohydrates, water, and fats, because your body needs a lot and a lot of it. Vitamins, your body doesn't need plenty. It needs some, but not too much. In fact, if your body has too much vitamins, like you eat too much vitamins, you're just going to urinate the excess out, right? So vitamins, since you don't need too much of it, it's called a micronutrient. Meaning micro means small or a little bit, right? So when it comes to vitamins, there are 3 major vitamins that's on the syllabus. A, B, C, D, and E. I'm sure you've been hearing about those vitamins for pretty much your whole life. To keep it simple, I don't want to talk too much because you'll have some writing to do. These are the sources of each vitamin. So for example, if you want vitamin A, you're going to have to eat what? Plenty carrots, spinach, liver, and so forth, right? Just a quick fact. It's not going to come in the exam, but there's something. Too much vitamin A can actually kill you. Like if you eat an excessive amount of vitamin A, you can die. For those who are interested in facts, right? If you are ever stranded in the Arctic, right, by the North Pole, and you see a polar bear, if you happen to get in a fight for survival because you're so hungry, you decide to kill a polar bear. I don't know how you would get that, how you would manage to do that. Maybe you got a lot of adrenaline in your system. Let's say you kill the polar bear and decide to eat it. Never eat the liver of a polar bear. You know why? A polar bear's liver has an excessive amount of vitamin A. And remember what I told you all, too much vitamin A can actually be lethal. So that's my survival tip for you guys. If you kill a polar bear, if you're in the Arctic, eat everything, just not the liver. All right? Anyway, moving on to other useless facts. All right? So you'll get an idea here now. I just want to explain a few things in the table. The table just explains the sources, why you need them, and if you don't get enough of it, that is what deficiency means, what could happen. So if you don't get enough vitamin A, you can get respiratory infections, and you'll have breathing problems and whatnot. And you're also going to have trouble seeing in the night. You're not going to be able, like when the place dark, you're not going to be able to make out outlines of objects and things properly, right? Do you all know what berry is, right? That's for vitamin B. If you don't get enough vitamin B, you suffer from something called beriberi. How much people don't know what beriberi is? Let me know in the chat. Right. Now, the only reason, well, beriberi is when you don't get enough vitamin B and you get disoriented. So you have trouble thinking. When you try to talk, you can't talk properly because you're confused. You can't get the words out of your mouth properly. So please get enough vitamin B, otherwise you get very, very confused and you can't think properly. Scurvy, for those who are who like pirate movies. Anybody have a favorite pirate movie? Right? You just hear the word scurvy being mentioned. Scurvy is when you don't have enough vitamin C. And everybody knows where you get vitamin C from. You get it from fruits. A lot of fruits have vitamin C. Now, why is it so popular in pirate movies? You see, what pirates live on boats for most of their life, right? And of course, you can't pack fresh fruits on a boat for months. The fruits will go what? Stale. So pirates used to suffer from the lack of vitamin C. And when you lack vitamin C, you get something called scurvy. Scurvy is when your gums start to rotten away and your teeth start to fall out and your mouth just constantly bleeding. It's a very painful way to die, okay? Your gums and teeth and everything just start to move away, just deteriorate. Rickets, that's vitamin D. In case you all don't know what rickets is, have you all ever seen anybody with legs like this? Their legs don't look straight like that. Instead, their legs form a kind of curve like this. Right. That's when the child, when the child was young, the parents didn't give them enough vitamin D. And that's what, look at this. It prevents your body from absorbing calcium. Doesn't your body need calcium for bones and teeth? So if you don't eat enough vitamin D, you can't get enough calcium, and hence your bones don't get strong. That is why the person leg bends like this. It bends under the weight of the person because the bone's too weak to fully support the body now. So it gets curved over time. All right. And vitamin E, well, nothing too much here. You get vitamin E from just what? From eating these things here, right? You get it from almost anything, but apparently almost anything like that you eat will have vitamin E. So it's very unlikely that a person will have any vitamin E deficiency, right? But it's important for vision, reproduction, for the health of your brain. So you can just use the imagination here. If for some reason you don't get enough vitamin E, it will affect your vision. It will definitely affect your brain. It can also make you very confused. Your brain might start to deteriorate and stuff like that. Okay? So take down everything on the screen, and this is going to be a last slide for the day. Once you are finished, just say finished, and you're free to leave. But don't screenshot it. Take it down, please.